Week 3, Day 1 of the HCS Pro League fall season. Elamite and T-Squared joining you from the Xfinity desk here. And of course, we just saw some crazy matches here tonight already. Optic losing, LOL winning. Those are two crazy stories in itself as it is. And then, of course, we've got another exciting match coming up. We've got Evil Geniuses battling out Nated and crew as in Luminosity here.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Nated was, practicing with this Evil Geniuses squad. It looked like it was going to be Nated, Ninja, Lunch, and Roy, and they end up not practicing for one day. Nated ends up practicing with these guys, and then Victory X goes to EG. So a little bit of history between these two teams, and taking a look at that lineup that we just mentioned, Roy, Lunchbox, Ninja, and Victory X. These guys, again, if they're able to walk away with a win here, are going to be tied for first place with Envy.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be extremely exciting match because this is the first time that we might see Optic Gaming not even in first place, second place. They might fall all the way down to third or lower with how this season is starting to play out. Now, of course, Lunchbox and Roy are the duo and have been for quite some time here. Now, I don't think that Lunch and Roy have any experience teaming with anyone from this current Optic Gaming roster.
From Luminosity or Optic Gaming?
Or excuse me, from the Luminosity roster.
I was getting confused for a second. Yeah. I don't believe so, but either way, keep in mind that Nated was trying out for these guys, so Nated is going to have a little bit of insight on how they play. So that may give them a little bit of an advantage, but the thing is Luminosity, while they look really great in scrims and they have looked well in certain matches in the Pro League, on the other hand, they've fallen short a couple of times and dropped the ball a little bit. So curious to see how these guys are going to play and see, if they're going to be the consistent Luminosity squad that we know that they can, and they have what it takes to hang with EG. Not only hang, but win. It's just a matter of, are they going to show up?
Yeah, and then, of course, which EG is going to show up as well. Let's take a quick look at the vetoes here for our very first matchup in this game number 1. So, of course, Empire being banned by Evil Geniuses, which I believe was the game type they actually beat Optic on. So that's kind of interesting to see them go that route there. That is going to be an Eden ban here from Luminosity, a Rig ban from Evil Geniuses, and we're looking at Plaza Strongholds.
Yeah, I like this. I think that it's a good map pick for both teams, or map selection for both teams. I wouldn't give an advantage towards anyone on Plaza Strongholds, but both of these teams have made their fair share of mistakes. It's just a matter of not making those mistakes here. We've seen, so many times players flood into the yard when they don't need to, or leave that snipe area when they don't necessarily need to, and just taking a look overall of what maps we're going to be seeing and what game types is going to be Plaza Strongholds, Regret Slayer, CTF Fathom, Empire Strongholds, and then Truth Slayer. So very similar game types to our previous series, if not the same exact game types.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind as well with games 1 and 4 being Strongholds, there's a lot more that goes into the vetoes because, you might not, even if you want to play Empire, you might not make it there if you're not able to take one of the first 3 game victories. So there's a lot that goes into the vetoes. We've only barely scratched the surface on the level that these teams go in depth on the selection process, something we're definitely going to be looking at learning a lot more about going forward. But we'll start this one off with Victory X, the X factor here for EG, and this is a different strategy we haven't seen too much. That's 4 people fighting for yard.
Yeah, this is actually something that EG does pretty often. They love to get 2 players into yard, and then they love to go top gold to contest that camo area, which is fine, but you can do the same exact thing by going bottom center and still secure that at the same time. But they are able to not only get that yard, but they're able to get bottom middle as well. Let's see what happens over towards this nest side. It looks like Luminosity is going to be able to grab that one. So advantage over to Evil Geniuses for the time being, but it's only a matter of time here before the members for Luminosity start to spread out here and get control. That's exactly what they did. So nice job by L-Town going in there, working with his teammate down there to secure that bottom middle area. And again, Nated and L-Town thought that dynamic duo in terms of getting that objective done.
Ooh, a little bit of a missed clamor there going up to trying to contest top center. Now that's going to be a good opportunity for EG to regain bottom mid control, and in fact they will. Roy just gets dropped here. Lunchbox is fighting a player here over by Poster Stairs, but not going to be able to finish the kill. Ninja, however, is able to clean it up before he is taken out. Now it's going to be bottom mid going right back over to control of Luminosity. Roy's trying to get in there and do what he can. Does pick up
perfect shots. Ooh, nice detonate coming out from Nated though, and that's going to be 2 kills going over to Luminosity. So a trading kills here. It's going to be a 2-on-2 temporarily. Now another kill going over to Luminosity, so that's 3 here. Now it's going to be up to EG to come back, and what EG likes to do, based on what I've seen, is they're a big fan of pushing towards bottom middle. So I'm expecting you know, you have two options. You either make a nest push here or you make a bottom middle push here. And from what we've seen, they like to go over down towards highway instead of going towards that loop area. So let's see if that's going to be the case here again.
Ooh, and Victory X, I like that play out of him, pushing forward as opposed to backwards, especially with that splinter nade that was thrown in his direction. But he is going to be out teamworked, and Roy picking up some crucial shots there on Denoxide to take him out. L-Town, rather than going and contesting bottom mid, is going to push over to Yard. Looks like Victory will be able to get in the hill just in the nick of time here, but they need to, oh, and that's a win for EG.
It's just, I don't see the point of that play. Like, I understand I'm sitting here casting. L-Town's a better player than me when it comes to Halo 5. It's just, that play doesn't make any sense to me. Why wouldn't you want to contest bottom middle from top gold, leave the yard open, and try to get the angles for your team to be able to get control there? So I just don't understand when people make that push into yard. You're like, yeah, you should even won that 1v1 against Victory. But to me, I don't see a purpose for doing that. However, you know, I'm sitting here critiquing people for a reason, so.
But either way, I mean, you make a good point. You know, whether or not you're watching South Park and it's, you know, Captain Hindsight, or you're just Mr. Obvious, whatever the case may be, there's things that work, things that don't work, and after the fact, you can always make a decision. And that's the only way to get better at Halo, is to take a look at every series of events, every decision you make in game, and decide whether or not that was the best decision to make, and if it wasn't, working on improving that.
One of the things that they're doing really well, though, is that when they're giving control up, they're retaking it right back. And that's one of the things that all the top teams do, is not really panic when it comes to the stronghold. So many times you feel like you have to just overextend or give up a dumb death. Sometimes it's just better to give that stronghold up and just get control and get the slays that you need to. As you see Eco trying to make his way down there. Didn't realize that he only had one bullet left, so that's going to be EG's opportunity to capture bottom middle. And again, this is what EG likes to do. They're always pushing down towards that highway area and just getting control of bottom middle through that yard. So you got to be aware of that if you're Luminosity.
All right, Ninja gets a couple shots there on Naded's back there, allows his teammates to finish off those kills. Player right above him will get a melee thrust away. L-Town doing some sneaky stuff and gets a kill on Roy. Stays alive, Ninja. Crucial misplay here and gets his teammates killed.
Yeah, Ninja didn't expect that grenade to bounce the way that it did, and L-Town ends up living over there towards the soda, and that's going to allow enough time for Naded to capture bottom middle. So misplay coming out there from Ninja is going to allow these guys to get right back into it. And for as many times as EG's been able to hold, you know, get points here, or get setups here, you would think that they would have more points. And with the camo coming up here, Luminosity's in a really prime position to try to build on this lead.
Ooh, and looks like several members of Luminosity here collapsing over towards Yard.
So I gotta interrupt you. When you collapse on this, you have to watch the spawns now. So that's a good time to collapse. We talk about when's a good time and bad time. When you're getting slays, making your way towards there, that's a good time to collapse. But look, even while you're collapsing that, they're picking up the camo at the same time. So is it really worth it? I don't know. But the thing is when you leave and go for that triple cap, you have to watch the spawns, and you're leaving the rest of the map open.
Yeah, we'll find out whether or not that was worth it here. They did trade Yard for Pit in that scenario. They did pick up a few extra seconds, but like you said, is that really worth it to have that Yard in control? Looks like a lot of bottom mat middle action going on. Denoxide trying to escape or delay as long as possible. You do have members of Luminosity now in the hill. Naded is doing his best job of staying alive behind this Prius, starting to capture this hill.
Nice.
Ninja just dropping, gets caught by himself.
Triple cap now coming out for Luminosity. So nice job by Naded, just constantly being a nuisance bottom center. Does he get that melee onto the player? No, that would have been a huge melee. Either way, Eco is able to get that kill onto Lunchbox, which was the camo player. And this is pretty much it for EG. Unless they're able to stop the bleeding here pretty soon, Luminosity is going to be able to walk away with this one, and that's got to be a little bit worrisome for EG. This could be one of their weaker game types for other people to say, hey, we want to maybe play EG on this one. You know, if they're a 3-in-1 team and they're showing this type of, you know, mistake so far and not showing any type of retake strategy, that's a little bit worrisome. They're not very good at retaking the nest, but they do seem to have control of at least being able to get bottom middle here, and let's see if they're able to hold this setup now for a while.
Denoxide picks up quite a few kills here bottom center, but not able to secure the hill. Ninja's in there trying to contest it right now. Brett or Naded has to get out of the hill or he was going to die. He does pick up a kill now on Roy. This is a good opportunity now for Luminosity to try to close this one out. However, Ninja isn't ready to admit defeat here quite yet. Let's get some good shots down on this player. Light Rifle Lunchbox following him up there. Everyone else from Luminosity pushing towards bottom center. You got Denoxide laying down some shots there by Van. Brett pushing up top center. right now, Ninja needs to make sure he stays alive.
Nice thrust. That was a really unpredictable thrust coming out from Ninja. Now they're looking to go for the triple cap here. And again, this is where you got to be careful. You have to be aware of the spawns. Looks like everyone for Luminosity is spawning in towards that blue area. But when you're over here in the yard, the back wall is the opportunity to push for Luminosity. So you need to get where that camo used to spawn, which is that lift area. That's exactly where L-Town rotated over. Now he can try to control this nest area. However, the pinch is coming in for everybody on the side of EG. They are able to get the kill. Triple cap still in effect. And this should be a nice opportunity for EG just to set up here and just wait for Luminosity to come to them.
And Ninja just picked up that shotgun instead of giving it to Roy, who had camo. I don't necessarily really like that play. It could have been put to much better use. Okay, with only one shot, not too bad there. But either way, Luminosity trying to push out. That's a quick double kill. Going to be potentially triple kill. No, Lunchbox does steal that one. Now, is this triple cap going to work out is the real question.
Yeah, and you get the slay, so he feels like he's, good to go in there and push in there. Something to keep in mind, though, is that he does have an empty shotgun, so as soon as he died, that new shotgun is going to be on spawn. So that's dropping right around that 430 mark, and Luminosity should be able to grab that one because they do have the yard, and that should be, something that they need to grab to potentially push back in. Camouflage not coming up for another good minute here, so it's going to be very difficult for Luminosity to set up as long as EG is just able to sit in certain positions here and lock down that nest area. Ninja gets caught out though bottom center. That's not a good position to be in. Definitely want to try to slow play that one. And there it is. Luminosity able to take back bottom middle here. It's only going to be probably 1 or 2 more chances for EG to get back into this one.
All right, they're getting some shots down on L-Town, but he does a great job of escaping. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go S4 here. Now, the bottom mid-hill is being contested. L-Town, he's got 3, 4 or more kills here with this SMG bottom middle. Absolutely being the X factor here for this squad.
Yeah, and L-Town needs to rotate over there towards that nest or at least contest this yard area because they're mathematically out of it for EG. So there goes the reset on that yard area. Now he's making his way over towards the nest. Not even, necessary fight here, but either way, Victory X does get that kill, and that should be game 1 going over to Luminosity, and it is. So EG, they kind of struggle in this map from what I've seen, especially on the retake strategies, and they weren't playing good enough defense and let Luminosity go bottom middle a little bit too much.
Yeah, and they had a great opening strategy to start that one out, considering they won the battle for yard and were able to take out 2 members of Luminosity. So that's something you can't really expect to happen to start a game as well. So considering how good of a start they actually had here against this team, it was surprising that they allowed Luminosity to get such big leads with several of their times they were in control.
Yeah, and we didn't highlight, but Eco with the 20 bomb, most kills on his team and in the game. So again, Evil Geniuses, I think that looked like a little bit of a warm-up game for them. They were a little bit slow on their rotations and just a little bit slow in the communication probably. I don't think that they're shooting bad or anything. We have to get a little bit more of a look at Lunchbox and Victory X's screen since we were on Ninja and Roy a lot, but it seemed like Roy was shooting fine. Ninja started to heat up a little bit, had that little bit of a misplay with the grenade, but nothing too detrimental to actually cost them a game individually, more or less just a whole team effort there. And now moving into Regret Slayer, this is a big game for Luminosity, and this is their swing game. If they're able to win this one, they should be able to walk away with the series, and that'd be big considering EG, again, we were talking about it, how they're trying to win this series and tie Envy for first place in the league.
Yeah, I mean, L-Town was playing really well that game, and speaking of Regret Slayer, that's one we've seen him drop some really positive numbers on as well in the past. So as far as who we start this one off with, I know we were with L-Town a lot last game, but he really was a determining factor in that win. So we'll start this one off with him. That's L-Town or Sal here, so he's going to be pushing out towards Plasmacaster here, and it doesn't look like based on the player outlines, no one else went actually to contest this. Yeah, this is a good position to be in, just unloading, grabs a double, he's probably going to get this new overshoot.
Nice play coming out from L-Town, and that's the same thing we saw APG do in the beginning of the game, where he just walked up towards P2, just for free and uncontested, and before the Plasmacaster was put towards P2, it was the fuel rod, and that was just completely unheard of to have people go up there for free. So it's interesting to see the meta is taking down his own overshield, but it's interesting to see nobody's valuing the Plasmacaster. Maybe after today people will a little bit more, but we saw Pistola, what he could do with it, pretty much winning the game for Envy going up against Optic Gaming, and now we see what L-Town's doing with it, and that's one of the guns that he's very, very good with. He's definitely got one of the stronger plasma casters, very similar to how Heinz uses this weapon, and it's deadly, man. It's also been buffed, not in a recent patch, but it was probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago, but it does do more damage and is, rightfully so, in replace of the fuel rod up there.
Right now, he is. I mean, the fuel rod is, or excuse me, the plasma caster has absolutely been the determining factor of this game. 4 kills already, more than the rest of the team combined, and that's all that opening strategy. Just what L-Town decided to do. Yeah,
getting that overshield after picking up that double kill was big as well, because now they have the timing on that one. And look at this killing spree. Without that killing spree, this game would pretty much be in EG's favor. So definitely got to revisit your beginning strategy there if you're EG, and probably send someone up jumping on towards that bridge to contest that plasma caster. It's pretty much a free kill if you go from under the base onto the bridge and just toss a grenade over there to the plasma caster guy. And if the plasma caster guy doesn't see anyone coming up from his street, he's not going to think that that guy's coming from top center. So either way, L-Town, getting the plasma caster in your hands is one thing, putting it to work is a completely different story. And he got a triple kill right off the weak players there for EG, and he's playing this one perfect.
3 shots, 3 kills, Tom. That's how L-Town does it. Might pick up another one. Oh, he's not able to grab a trade there, but does pick up yet another assist. Second plasma caster of the game, also going over to Luminosity, and he's got scatter shot plasma caster. We're taking a quick peek here at the stats, as I think the action's slowing down for a moment. 9-1 from L-Town. Wow. That's insane.
Love to see that type of game from a guy who was in the conversation of, potentially being replaced. On the forums, a lot of players were talking about L-Town and where's he going to go, and is he going to be the player that gets dropped? And he seems to always be taking a lot of slack, or a lot of flack, whatever you want to call it. And he's one of those players that does the dirty work. He does the objective. So when we go in and we look at the stats, and it's such an easy thing to talk about, and it's a good storyline, but he's one of those players that stats don't really matter for him. He just wants to win the game. And he's had fantastic turnouts and Slayers, throughout not even this Pro League, obviously, but in previous Pro Leagues as well, especially on Coliseum and Regret. So definitely got to watch out for L-Town in these big games.
Ooh, Victory X being a sneaky little beaver over here, and wow, what a great job. Wow. That was all led by Victory X. I mean, Denoxide thought he had a guaranteed kill, essentially, throwing that splinter grenade into Attic, but it did not work out in his favor. Victory X gives him a couple juke moves. Lunchbox comes in and finishes off the kill.
These are really big kills for Victory X, because you need something to get back into the game. Yeah, you're down 10, now it's 9 kills, but it could have easily spiraled out of control for these guys. They could be down 15 or even more if it wasn't for Victory X's little heroics here with the scatter shot. So let's see if they're able to reset the map here and put something together, because right now they're just being up teamwork by Luminosity. It's not even, strategy, or it's not individual shots or anything like that. It's probably just more or less the communication that's going on between these two guys, which is not something that you would expect Evil Geniuses to lose the battle in.
Yeah, I mean, they're really lucky they were able to shut L-Town down there, because I thought we were about to see some sort of new world record he was on track for to start off this game.
Yeah, I was expecting a possible killing frenzy coming out from him, but the thing is he's opened up the map for the rest of his team in terms of getting the overshield and things like that. So let's see if they're able to use the timings that they've had now that they've lost map control to at least be able to get a burn on this thing, because they're going to have the exact timing here. You know that Taui's going to be on top of this thing, forcing Evil Geniuses to go for it, and it looks like Ninja's going to get aggressive with that plasma caster and not get any kills, and multiple slays going over there towards Luminosity while they're waiting for the overshield, and there it is. Perfect timing coming out from these guys. That one's picked up at 7:37, so going back to the very first overshield that's been picked up, that's now 3 in favor of Luminosity, and between that and L-Town, that's the difference in this game.
Yeah, I mean, and Ninja's plasma caster, it looked like he was about to pick up yet another triple kill that we would have seen this game, but he was not able to grab any of those kills, including 2 players that were no shields hiding in the corner down there. So it's a great job by Luminosity, evading and staying out of sight here, and Ninja just getting caught off guard.
It's just miscommunication coming out from EG. You can see Lunchbox is already pushing out, but his teammates are a couple steps behind him, and you can't afford to go out there by yourself. You have to have some sort of take-back strategy strategy where a guy flanks and goes around, or you send a guy through the bridge. You can't just go out one by one on the car side and face 1v1 battles, because that's not going to be the case. Everyone in Luminosity is just waiting for you guys to push out. And again, now they're all stuck at blue base on EG's side. Now Roy finally making his way over towards the bridge. Let's see if that's going to be enough for EG to retake control here.
That was a really sick perfect too, zooming in and actually picking up that headshot with the 5th and final shot to secure that one. Down to 12-point game. L-Town back with that plasma caster here. So say we go ahead and take a look at L-Town.
It's just weird to see Roy, you know, we have the player outline, so we know exactly where everyone is, and we have that advantage. But here goes L-Town with another killing spree, his second one of the game so far. But it's very strange to see Roy staring at a base where no one's at for a good 3 seconds, or what seemed to be, you know, a year, but it probably was only about half a second. He missed an opportunity to look around the map and find other players, and you can see just the communication for EG. This is one of their strong suits. It's just not important in this game. People are pushing out individually. Luminosity is collapsing perfectly. So, you know, let's not discredit, you know, Luminosity by any means, but it doesn't seem like the same EG squad that's in the running for possibly being first place next to Envy.
Oh, and Eco almost, or excuse me, Victor X almost has a great play. It's gonna sneak up on Denog's side, but L-Town top center already takes that player out. They did have the time on Overshield, but not gonna be good enough as Luminosity picks up yet another one, and considering the score of this game, this one's gonna be over.
Yeah, this definitely is gonna be over, 49-35, and Luminosity is gonna go up 2-0. I'm wondering what happened with EG over the weekend, why, you know, they're not putting it together here, and they were looking so strong. I mean, just had that amazing Game 5 win going on Eden, you know, up against, I think that was E6. They should be riding that momentum into practicing more, figuring out more things, and then you got L-Town doing these type of things and just completely shutting you down.
I mean, that double kill was exactly how the entire game went for EG and for L-Town. He was just on top of everything. Here, of course, is that triple kill that we saw from him, which was not the sickest triple kill I've ever seen, but still kind of funny nonetheless. But either way, great job here by L-Town, especially this game, picking up all those kills.
Definitely.
And controlling the power-ups. You know, he was constantly bottom center contesting those. I do like this perfect a lot right there.
Well, it's weird, but I think we've seen numerous perfects coming out from Roy so far, and still they're losing by at least, you know, 25%. And you got to wonder what's happening with these guys. In my opinion, it's communication. It's all about the communication with this team. Lunchbox and Roy are heavy on the small talk, heavy on, you know, staying alive, and you see things like Lunchbox pushing out by himself. You see Ninja going out there in the middle of the map by himself. You see Roy looking in places where, you know, the entire Luminosity team's on the opposite side of the map. So obviously there's some sort of misinformation and miscommunication being thrown around between these guys.
Yeah, I mean, and considering the fact that nobody from Evil Geniuses actually rushed that power-up, or, you know, rushed for Overshield, that's something is really risky to not do, especially in the beginning of the game when one team decides to send a player on a flank.
Certain teams have certain philosophies on this. I think that it's Envy, or one of these teams in the Pro League actually doesn't even, I don't know if they do it now, but around the finals of last season, they were talking about how we don't even go for the Overshield in the beginning. I think it was Envy where Mikwin said, we just all go top center.
Yeah, and they go for plasma pistol.
Yeah, and they go for the plasma pistol. So that is a strategy too, but you can't be giving anything up for free, especially a power weapon, and it's the only power weapon on the map. You do have the scatter shot, but the plasma caster can be a little bit more useful than the scatter shot because of the way that the map is shaped, so and it's not a lot
because
of close
cross
quarters.
map double kills.
Yeah, because of cross map double kills that, you know, put you in first place when you're pistola.
You're down by 2 and you're about to lose game 5, and you just get a free double kill.
And you just close your eyes, say a prayer, maybe sneeze and pull the trigger.
Kind of reminds me of that Jimbo Plasminate he threw over the map on Fathom here from silo to silo to stick the flag carrier. If you ever
never saw that one.
I'll show you it later.
Oh, really?
It's insane.
I'm a big Jimbo fan. I like that guy. It's always a pleasure to watch him. But anyway, we're moving over to Fathom CTF, and an interesting starting strategy from both teams. Victory X charging right over.
Did you see that?
Yeah, a little bit of body humping coming out for Denog's side, and it looks like the flag's already being pulled out here, and it looks like that was Evil Geniuses going for that touch. Lunchbox here with the railgun now. That's going to be something that they need to utilize, and L-Town shuts that one down. So let's see what Luminosity is going to do here in the beginning of the game to try to continue this momentum, because right now it's looking pretty good for them.
Kind of an interesting bounce on that frag nade coming out of Eco, but he does end up picking up the kill either way. Flag is still out now, and several members dying. However, L-Town with a great grenade picks up another kill.
L-Town being Captain Clutch here. Shout out to Walshy here for his team so far in this specific series, and look at him just playing pretty much flawlessly. I mean, thrusting exactly when he needs to, using his radar, aware of multiple people that are crouching around him, laying down the shots. I mean, fantastic use of the map there, but either way, this has been the world's longest cap coming out for Evil Geniuses. They pulled this one pretty much 10 seconds into the game, and they're continuing to run it a minute and a half later. So hats off to these guys for never giving up, never say die. I know you love, what's that movie that you always love?
Never Back Down.
Never Back Down.
I knew that's what you were going
yeah,
for.
so never back down if you're Evil Geniuses, as Kyle would say.
Yep, it's true. You just can't do it.
That's Roy. Roy never backs down. Has one of the sickest shots in all of Halo and continuing to show so in Halo 5. And this is definitely someone that you need to step up here for Evil Geniuses. And again, not like he's been shooting bad or playing bad this series so far. It's just that they're getting out teamwork from this Luminosity squad. But so far, this has been a completely different start between the previous two games for EG. So this should give them a little bit hope for this series.
Right, now you've got two members of Evil Geniuses pushing across here. Nate from Victory X will go ahead and finish off the kill on Ninja there for L-Town. Flag being pulled out. They need to be able to contest this one quickly here. That one's moving all the way across the map.
Yeah, Victory X just feels a little bit out of position here now based on, you know, the objective play coming out from Nated and this Luminosity squad. Let's see if they're able to get this flag a little bit further. They're also picking up the slays that they need to. L-Town even running this one with the railgun, which you want to see him possibly pass this off to one of his teammates. But look at L-Town using the wall perfectly, putting into that capture, tying it up 1-1 with the 2-0 lead in this series. Camouflage was in play. Not sure who picked that one up, but it's all about L-Town and this railgun trying to stay alive after that fantastic Slayer Regret performance.
He's doing a great job moving around the map here, but there's too many members of Evil Geniuses collapsing. Roy also has the camo here right now, so we'll go take a look at his point of view and see what he's doing. He's working with Ninja, trying to get into this base. Nobody here is in the engine quite yet, but there is a player down in pit. Roy gets a couple shots on him, but wow, Eco with the out.
He got his double. Not only did he kill Ninja, but he took out Roy at the same time. That is a huge momentum swing for Luminosity, and we're just talking about how fantastic Roy's shot is, and look at everybody desperating on the side of EG. They know they have to go in and get that flag pull, but they're not in position to do so because they got so weak, so now they're just dropping like flies. However, it looks like a nice job by the twins, Lunchbox and Roy, to push over towards that silo and get the flag down for Luminosity over there towards the porch.
Oh, and here you go. Roy gets a couple good shots down. Now they're waiting. They've still got time before they need to make a move on this flag. Now L-Town will grab one. That's going to put it in the hands of Nated. Let's see if he's going to be able to push that one in. He takes it right through and scores
with a super thrust. Nice play coming in from Brett. Only one cap here for Luminosity to walk away with this series 3-0.
And that is going to hurt EG's map win percentage rate really badly if they're able to do this to them. And right now, Denoxide trying to do what he can, push across the map. There's going to be people dying left and right. Most of the action happening still here on Evil Genius' side of the map.
I like that play from Denoxide. It looked like a little bit of a misplay, but he was just feeling it. He was getting really aggressive on there. If he was able to walk away with one of those kills, he potentially could have got a flag touch. But oh, the ground pound coming in. Lunchbox, oh, it does take out Nated, so that could have been an embarrassing moment there for Lunchbox. These guys have been playing since 2005 and 2007, so very seasoned veterans here on this Evil Geniuses squad, going up against a couple of newcomers in Eco and L-Town for Luminosity, but you do have that veteran leadership of, oh, you also have Denoxide too, so can't forget about him, but you have that veteran leadership coming out from Nated. And speaking of Nated, he just picks up that camo. That one was grabbed at 7:28, Kyle.
Yeah, and still 2-1 lead here in this game, 2-0 lead in the series. Like you mentioned, no camo for another 2 minutes or so. I like what he's doing here, using this wall to his advantage, waits for help before he actually shoots and brings himself out of camo.
Oh, man, Nated. Come on, man, I know you know how to do this jump, so that was a little bit of a misplay there. I do like where his head's at. However, he needs to stop playing so conservative with this camo. I mean, he's like crouching and acting like he's not invisible at this point, and it's like, dude, they can't see you, so there you go.
Kind of seems like there's 4 people all around him, but no one's there.
Yeah. So now he ends up getting rewarded with that railgun. So eventually paying off for Nated. And
he can't figure out what he wants to do. Nothing is working out in his favor right now.
It's unfortunate for him, and then his camo wears up. So it's like literally nothing is working out for Brett right now.
Oh, where the spot?
Oh no, and then he nades himself. Oh, that was a rough series of events.
Yeah,
for
we'll just
Nated.
act like we didn't watch that last 30 seconds there.
So yeah, I mean, a little bit too into his head there. That's why I was saying I really like the play from Denoxide, because it was a confident play, and then you looked at Nated screen and he just seemed a little bit underconfident with what he wanted to do with that camouflage. But fortunately for him, his teammates are picking up the slack, especially Eco and L-Town in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that whole sequence of events could have been way different if he was able to put that camo rail to use here, but unfortunately not able to do so for Luminosity. Now, L-Town's weak bouncing around here on the map. Lunchbox is having a really hard time tracking him down. Looks like his teammate does put in a couple shots, but also gives him a little bit of a team nade too. So Lunchbox is going to die. Flag is out right now.
Standoff. So we're in a standoff, and this is big. I mean, obviously Luminosity, they need one more cap to walk away with this one. They're also picking up the amount of slays that they need to. It all comes down to Roy over here in this fight against Eco, getting that beat down in. More players coming in from that engine side, also on the porch as well. Roy picking up another kill. Is he going to be able to get L-Town? L-Town gets the kill, but also Victory X getting that trade. So Lunchbox should be able to get the touch. Everything calms down here. However, while this was all happening, Nated picking up another camouflage. So let's see what Nated's going to do, and if he plays this a little bit differently, I hope, than the last camo that he had. Also has a splinter grenade, which is big. Oh no! Nated runs right into a grenade.
Oh, luckily for him, though, he's able to stay alive, and Ninja not expecting him to be right around that corner with that storm rifle. Just such a powerful up close.
There you go, Brett. Get in there, man. Get aggressive. Also gets that perfect nade on the Lunchbox. He's also on the return at the same time. This could be it for Luminosity. Flag gets returned. 3-0 win. They take down Evil Geniuses. 17 kills for Eco. And remember that big kill that he had on Ninja and Roy when Roy was trying to run that flag.
Yeah, I mean, that really looked like a flustered Evil Geniuses. I mean, that was all 3 games, and that looked like it just went by in a flash.
That was really ugly for EG. I mean, definitely worried about their performance there, because we were just talking about how they have an opportunity to be first place against, to be tied with Envy for first place, the only team that they've lost to so far. And it was controversial in their loss anyway because of the replay, so you would think that they would come out swinging here. However, it was L-Town, Nated, Denoxide, and Eco coming out hot right from the get-go and never slowing down this entire series and embarrassing Evil Geniuses.
I mean, in this season, the way it started, it's got to be the most difficult thing to predict who's going to win these games, how many games it's going to go to, you know, what's going to happen at the end of the season, as you know, Envious, super powerhouse squad, 3-0'd by Liquid. Like, who's able to predict that one? Optic Gaming just joined, undefeated God Squad just joins Optic Gaming, and then boom, they've lost twice already. Like, this season, as opposed to any other kind of time I've actually watched Halo, going back in the day, you had the top 3 teams. Essentially those guys were always going to be in the top 3 or at least the top 4. Every once in a while you'd have a straggler depending on how some of the other teams are playing. But like this, what we're watching now, even with these teams where all these players are so good, this Evil Geniuses squad that has beat Enigma 6, who has beat Optic Gaming, now falls to Luminosity.
Yeah, it's a lot about matchups. It's a lot about the specific game types that you're going to play. But more than anything, it's about how you perform on that specific day and that specific time. And Evil Geniuses just seem to wake up on the wrong side of the bed so far today. And, Luminosity, they looked amazing. This is what I was expecting. Remember last week how in the beginning of the week I was saying, hey, Luminosity may be the best team. Well, this is how I was expecting them to play.
And speaking of Luminosity, we do have the man himself, L-Town, joining us here for a quick winner view. L-Town, how does it feel defeating this squad of Evil Geniuses today?
It feels real good, especially because EG has been playing amazing this whole season so far. So coming out hot and 3-0ing them definitely proves us that we're definitely up there.
What have you guys done between last week and here now? Of course, you had that heartbreaking 45-44 defeat there. Really exciting to watch, by the way, but I know you guys didn't like it too much. What's the difference between last week Luminosity and this week?
Last week was definitely us as being off page. We were definitely an off week. We shouldn't be playing like that at all. Today, we definitely showed that was a fluke, kind of. Not a fluke for them to beat us, but just like a bad week for us. We played nowhere near our potential, so today was definitely a good day.
I want to talk a little bit about that Regret Slayer game. You completely went off on that. When you went over for the Plasma Caster, were you surprised to see that nobody was even contesting that and how free the rest of the map was for you?
Yeah, I mean, not trying to talk any trash or anything, but especially like on Regret, me and Caster, you can't just let me get it for free. Like, so I got it and it ended up getting Overshield. It was just a perfect start for me. So I just started going off.
Now, did you feel like they weren't playing as good as they typically were? Or is this the Luminosity that everyone can expect for the rest of the season?
Maybe EG didn't play their best, but it was more of us just playing really good, I guess. But props to EG.
Right now, of course, you do have a lot more pressure on your shoulders here going forward into the rest of the season here, the rest of the weeks. Now, with what happened in the match of the week here today, you know, kind of switching pace, how did you expect to see this NV come out and upset this Optic Gaming squad? You know, or how do you feel about what you've seen so far today?
Well, I honestly thought Envy was going to win. I didn't know if it was going to go to game 5, 50, whatever it was, 50-47. Like, that was just the series everyone wanted, but I don't know. I definitely had a feeling Envy was going to win. They've been playing hot. Like, last week, they 3-0'd us. Like, they've just been on page lately.
So there's been a lot of L-Town naysayers on the forums. I'm not sure if you've, gotten wind of that, but what do you have to say towards, people that think that you guys are in the midst of possibly making a change? And, was that even in your mind, this week moving forward?
I mean, last week, I'm not going to lie, well, against E6, I had probably one of the worst series I've ever played in my life. So, people are going to talk about team change. I understand. I played like garbage, but today I had to make sure I stepped up big time, and game 1, game 2, it kind of went off.
So he's saying that he's secured, man. He's locked. He's like, that's big though. That's big, man. Congratulations, and that was a fantastic series for you guys. Very impressive win.
Yeah, and especially doing it on a game 5, more props to you there as well. So of course, L-Town, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on yet another win for your squad there, and good luck tomorrow as well.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you soon.
All right, L-Town.
Did you say game 5?
Did I say? Oh,
that wasn't a game 5.
That was not a game 5. Game 2.
It's okay. L-Town's looking at you like, what'd you just say, man? And I'm like, what did he just say?
The games today have completely just thrown me for a loop.
We're so used to seeing game 5s, honestly, and it's very rare. I was calling that there was going to be no 3-0s today, and Luminosity always throwing my predictions off, man. I was saying how they were going to win last week, then they lost, and then I was saying how there's not going to be any 3-0s today, and then it happens. But I feel very happy for L-Town because it was real. The rumors were real. He really needed to step up and show that he could perform, and that he wants to be a part of this Luminosity squad, and we saw that today, and we saw how much that can matter to these players, and yeah, I think that that's a very good sign for him in Luminosity.
Yeah, and a lot of people at home don't know what these players go through. When you don't have someone on your team that you're essentially aligned with, like if you're not a Lunchbox and Roy, if you're not a duo that's been together for a certain amount of time, you're on your own. You could get dropped the next day. You could get second place at the event and then wake up the next morning and already be dropped from your team. You never know what's going to happen, and there's a lot of pressure and stress on these players to perform each and every week. But of course, that is going to conclude week 3, day number 1 of the HCS Fall Season Pro League. Let's make sure we take a look here at this schedule with the results and see how these teams, how today ended. Of course, we had Enigma 6 defeating Allegiance 3-1, and then that epic Optic Gaming Team NBS Game 5.
Yeah, and we concluded with LOL getting their first win going up against Team Liquid, and then Luminosity with the hot 3-0 against Evil Geniuses. Definitely not how we were expecting today to, plan out or play out, but hey, this is how the whole season's been.
And now let's take a look at the standings here after today's matches. We've got Team Envious in the number 1 spot here, 69% win rate. And of course, that is going to be Optic Gaming with 2 losses here now.
Yeah, so those are actually not updated towards the top, but either way, I think it is going to be 4-1 for these guys, and then 3-2 for Optic, and then the rest of that looks right to me. So just the first 2 teams there, we'll get that updated for you guys, but everyone already knows what the records are anyway. So let's take a look at the matches tomorrow. Team Liquid going up against Luminosity. Liquid looking to bounce back, and Luminosity looking to carry that momentum forward. Then you have Allegiance going up against Optic Luminosity Gaming, that's going to be a tough matchup for them. E6 going up against Envious, that should be a really close one, probably going to be our match of the night tomorrow. And then you have LOL going up against Evil Geniuses, and that's going to be another interesting one based on what we saw today.
Yeah, I mean, if Evil Geniuses is playing anything like they were today and LOL playing anything like they were, there's a good chance that we might be able to see LOL come out and maybe pick up a second victory as well. Now, of course, to check out a look at the schedule, the standings, the results, or get the updated standings here, the correct ones, you can always go to proleague.com/Halo, and you'll be able to see the corrected standings and, of course, the schedule for tomorrow's matches. Now, that's going to essentially do it here from us at the Xfinity desk. T Squared and I saying farewell, GG's, and good night, and we'll see you back here for tomorrow.